Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we have a very exciting one, and that's because Toyota was kind enough to fly me out to just outside Phoenix, Arizona to get behind the wheel and drive for the very first time the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4. Now the one sitting behind me is going to be the most capable in the lineup, and that is the Woodland trim level, which does return from the previous generation. And for 2026 in this new next generation, they have changed it a little bit to give it a little bit more ground clearance, some all-terrain tires from the factory. You have a dedicated trail mode for the hybrid all-wheel drive system, which we will be testing out here later in the driving portion of today's video. And all in all, just it gives it a much more outdoorsy, rugged stance versus that of the standard, more on-road versions, and of course much more than that of the GR Sport, which I do have a separate dedicated video here on the channel, so make sure you guys check that content out if you guys haven't already. But anyways, in today's video, we're going to take a quick walk around tour of the Woodland, see what it has to offer. Unfortunately, pricing is not available as of me filming this video. I will go ahead and put it up on the screen if it does become available before I post it and everything like that. But the Woodland is available in both the standard hybrid and the plug-in hybrid, both all-wheel drive, of course, as standard. And basically, we'll see what the Woodland has to offer within the lineup and see if this is going to be the right fit for you. So the RAV4 Woodland in front of us is finished in the Urban Rock exterior with the mineral or woodland specific Softex interior. Now this is going to be a nice medium gray exterior with a little bit of metallic flake. I know this one is dirty from all of the off-roading done by me and a few other journalists at this event, but I think it suits the aesthetic of this particular trim level quite well, and you guys also let me know of the styling down in the comment section below. Now starting at the front end of the Woodland, you will find the unique front fascia as well as the lesser lighting package in some regards for the RAV4 lineup. So by lesser, I mean you get the standard LED projector headlights for both the low and high beam. You have the daytime running light signature up there as well, and then LED turn signals at the very bottom. There's no additional LED lighting signature on the front fascia like some of the other trim levels. However, you do add the rigid LED fog lights in the middle of the bumper there, which adds additional lighting in dark environments and certainly does enhance the overall outdoorsy appearance quite a bit. Now, in addition to this, you get front and rear parking sensors, the 360 surround view camera system located in the front fascia right there. And then you can see a little bit of nice medium gray or silver accent trim. This is going to be mostly satin black in terms of the trim, along with the extruded wheel arches right there. And then the Toyota logo is actually located in the actual grille or front bumper assembly rather than on top like some of the other RAV4 models that I have showcased from this event. Now coming around to the side profile, this is going to be a little bit of a different cladding than that of the standard matte black plastic trim on, say, the XLE, for example. And then coming to the more important attribute, that is going to be the wheel and tire setup. So this is going to be an 18-inch medium gunmetal gray alloy wheel with a specific design for the Woodland. It is going to be wrapped in a 235/65 18-inch all-terrain specific tire to this one. I'm actually not quite sure what this tire is. It's a Dunlop all-terrain tire, which you see does have additional tread and pattern specific for going into dirt, gravel, mud, things like that for additional traction. And part of the reason why this vehicle has some additional height and ground clearance from that of the other models, you get gloss black mirror caps with LED turn signal integration, cameras on the bottom as well as those puddle lights. They are going to be heated mirrors, does have blind spot detection as standard. You get gloss black door handles on the exterior with proximity entry for both of the two. And then backing up here on the side profile, you can see you get the satin black B-pillars, the raised type roof bars with crossbars from the factory. So this is a Woodland specific characteristic and attribute. And then you can see the power sunroof under there as well. And I really like this design element here at the back of the roof rails there for the Woodland trim specifically. Now coming out to the back of the vehicle, we will find full LED lighting for the taillights, turn signals, and reverse lights, all in this upper housing. It is going to be the red accented LED turn signals, so not amber in design. And then coming to the rear bumper, you can see some of the Woodland specific design for the medium silver trim to match that of the front bumper. You have the standard trailering hitch, which can tow up to 3,500 pounds when properly equipped and of course wired correctly. You have the hybrid all-wheel drive badge finished in gloss black on the driver's side with the Woodland badge, which matches the roof rails that I did just showcase on the passenger side. There's the backup camera, RAV4 spelled out across this gloss black on the tailgate with your Toyota logo, rear wiper, the third brake light, which is nice clear lens and design, and you have a body color accented spoiler versus that of gloss black for the two-tone paint options on other trim levels of this next generation vehicle. But you guys also let me know your thoughts on this vehicle and how it looks down in the comment section below. I think it looks fantastic with a little bit of dirt and mud on it, but that of course is not going to be for everybody, and most of these vehicles, even in the Woodland, are probably going to be driven on street the 99% of the time. But if you want to take it off-road, this is going to be the one for you. Now, coming onto the interior, as I mentioned, this is the mineral specific Softex interior for this particular trim level, which is going to be a little bit of a green accent with unique pattern and stitching. Coming to the door panel, you're gonna have a good mix of soft touch materials up top. So this is gonna be soft touch rubberized with the Softex in the middle. There you can see some of the patterns coming out with the sunlight. You can see it's just a little bit of a shadow design. We have the gunmetal gray accented door handle pull, power windows, mirrors, and locks, with all 4 windows being fully automatic up down. Love that. They are illuminated. You have additional door storage down below, and then the standard 6-speaker audio system. Now, coming to the driver's seat, it is gonna be a power driver's seat with 2-way lumbar. There you can see the unique mineral accents on the bolsters with a little bit of orange or red accent stitching and piping, unique pattern in the middle. And take a look at the dashboard. This is going to be largely the same as many of the other trims. So here in the interior of the RAV4 Woodland, you're going to find a lot of the new updated and latest generation technology that Toyota is debuting for the RAV4, including the 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster that is standard on every single trim level. Now I'm going to have a full video walkthrough on the technology, including the gauge cluster and the infotainment system here in a separate video. But nonetheless, this is going to be controlled here on the left side of the steering wheel. It's going to have a much more faster processing time, animation speed. You can put the built-in navigation or your Android Auto or Apple CarPlay maps within the screen itself, and there's a lot to customize, including all the data that you can actually do for this vehicle. So overall, this is a huge update from that of the previous generation digital cluster that was in the RAV4, and basically on every other vehicle that they have within their lineup. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, this is going to be a black synthetic leather wrap steering wheel with the orange or red accent stitching at the bottom. It is going to be heated, noted by that symbol right there on the infotainment system. Audio multimedia gauge cluster on the left side. You have Toyota Safety Sense 4.0 on the right side, so their latest generation driver assist, adaptive cruise, lane tracing assist, etc. And then you have the forward attention camera mounted up there on the column. Automatic headlights with fog lights and high beam control. And it does have rain sense wipers on the right side. To the left of the steering wheel, we have the gauge dimming, power hatch, fuel tank or fuel cap release, and then you have the hood. There's the manual tilt telescopic steering column, some of that same green accented Softex across the dash with the pattern, as well as in this portion that runs across the entire width to the passenger side. And coming over here to the infotainment system, this is their next generation system, the smaller of the 2 screen sizes available, so 10.5-inch screen, still supports wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs, even has the drive recorder system, which uses the 360 cameras and a camera located up here behind the mirror to actually have dash camera technology, so your vehicle's pretty much covered at all times. Dual zone automatic climate control, heated front seats in this particular vehicle. You have some physical buttons at the very bottom, and overall I think this UI and infotainment is going to be a huge win for the brand, and I think consumer feedback is going to be much more positive than that of some of their last generation products, given you can actually customize things, move tiles around, do a lot of stuff, and there's a quick access menu up there in the right hand corner, so you can activate the dash camera, save clips to the camera, change the driver assist technologies, so you can turn all these things on and off individually right from there, and it's very easy to access and navigate. Even turn the 120 volt outlet on and off inside of the trunk area and things like that. AC vents below all of that, and then we have dry mode selection in your dedicated EV mode for the hybrid system at lower speeds, as long as the vehicle has a state of charge on the battery. In terms of dry modes, we have Eco, Sport, Custom, and Normal inside of this hybrid all-wheel drive. And on the right side, we have trail and snow modes for it, as well as a return to normal button, so that kind of reverts back to normal. Single wireless charging pad, which is nice and large and works quite well. I've been using it for a couple of hours now, and my phone has basically been fully charged from it and not overheat. You can get dual wireless chargers in the limited trim level. We have 45-watt USB-C ports at the front of the vehicle. You can activate the 360 camera, which has some next generation pinch to zoom and rotatability, so you can zoom in and out like that, and basically view around the entire perimeter like some other manufacturers have had. And then over here we have hill descent control, traction control on and off, nice little storage cubby down below all of that, 2 large cup holders with a center removal slot, chunky shifter here on the left side of the dash with a synthetic leather boot, electronic parking brake with automatic vehicle hold, some nice of red or orange accent stitching here, and then center console inside you do have a USB-C data port and a 12-volt outlet. Good amount of storage, and this is a bi-open design, so you can open it from either side. And one of the cool features about it is if you press both buttons, you can take it out, flip it over, and it becomes a table that you can actually snap back into place right here and turn the lid into basically a table or a workspace, depending on what you're doing inside the vehicle. Coming up top, we have hard touch, kind of lighter gray pillars, soft touch headliner, LED vanity illumination. Looks like a manual dimming rear view mirror. We have a power sunroof control, sunglasses holder, emergency SOS services, interior overhead LED illumination via these tiny little LED lights here. That is one of the most unique elements that I've been fascinated with the RAV4 is how much output that can have. And there is the single power sunroof, which has a manual sunshade. You can see the crossbars up there, which probably do introduce a little bit of additional wind noise at higher speeds, but that's to be expected for those additional accessories. Taking a look at the second row of the RAV4, the good news is materials do follow through from the front. So in terms of the upper door panel, this is the same rubberized texture, soft text with the unique woodland accent pattern, storage down below, and they do have the mineral accents on the sides of the seats with the black soft text perforated in the middle. Stepping inside, the step and is very easy in this new generation RAV4. Door opening's pretty wide. The door doesn't go 100%, 90 degrees, but it's, open enough that you can easily step inside. And the seat bottom cushion is actually mounted far down. So you actually kind of step down into the rear seat rather than stepping up and kind of having issues with my head contacting the door opening. There's a quick look at the front dashboard. In terms of rear seat amenities, we have two 15-watt USB-C ports, AC vents. We have pockets on both of the two front seats. Seats do fold down 60-40 split. We have a armrest with two cup holders inside, and they do have a ratcheting recline system. So you have a two-position latch there. It will recline it just about an inch or two to allow you a little bit of additional comfort on those long-distance road trips. But as I've been mentioning in all my RAV4 videos, space back here is actually good. The Woodland actually has some very soft and comfortable seats, a little bit more comfortable in the back than that of the XSE and maybe some of the other trim levels, similar to that of the GR Sport. But these are full soft text, so no suede or no cloth combination, and should make it easier to clean up if you have kids, pets, or want to do outdoor activities. It should just wipe up pretty easily. And yeah, comfort back here is very good. Space is good. Headroom is plentiful. There's just no rear heated seats or any of those other niceties that you can get, of course, on those very top fully loaded versions. Now take a look at cargo capacity behind the second row seats. Of course, you do have that power liftgate. And then in terms of cargo volume versus the prior generation RAV4, this is actually very similar, just about 0.3 to 0.5 cubic feet more so, just due to some of the packaging and design changes they've made. On the left side, you have no additional accessories. On the right, you have an LED light, and the Woodland has a 1500 watt, 120 volt outlet via the hybrid high voltage battery system. So about a 15 amp circuit right there, which is very nice to see. A nice improvement over that of the 12 volt outlet that you get in some of the lesser trims, unless you do choose this as an available option. Nice storage pocket over on the right side, and then beneath the floor we do have a temporary spare tire. It looks like it does not match the all-terrain, so just a standard temporary spare, but always good to have a temporary spare versus a fix-a-flat kit, especially when you have hybrid and plug-in hybrid versions of this vehicle that have to store the battery pack underneath these second row seats. Now, wrapping this video up here on the passenger front seat, the Woodland unfortunately does not come with a power passenger seat. So it has a 6-way manual design, so it does have height adjustment. It's just a manual lever. There's a look at the seat, the dashboard. You have an additional storage pocket up top. Glove box is damped. Unfortunately, does not have illumination, but does fit all of your owner's literature and things in there. But yeah, that's a look here at the Woodland. Let's go ahead and jump inside this vehicle, take it for a very first drive, and give you guys my off-road and on-road driving impressions of this new, most capable RAV4 in its current generation. Now, I just got done doing the off-road course that Toyota has set up here at this event, and I have to say, using the built-in trail control and the downhill brake control that limits your speed roughly 3 or 4 miles per hour on inclines, it actually all worked reasonably well, especially when paired to these all-terrain tires. The tires truly provide an additional level of grip and traction on muddy, sandy, rocky surfaces over that of a standard all-season that allows the hybrid all-wheel drive system to work just that much better in those conditions. So, as you saw from some of the video, or I'll be overlaying it right now, The traction control systems and the all-terrain tires did very, very nicely in their performance, and I had zero issues with traction, and the all-wheel drive actually impressed me given the instantaneous torque from the dual motor electric system, one at the front, one at the rear axle. And even going up the rocky inclines, which were pretty grooving due to the recent heavy rainfall in this area, we had articulation and wheel slip. This vehicle handled it pretty darn easily, and I think that's the most that the average person or buyer of this vehicle would actually ever take it on. So all in all, I was very impressed with the additional off-road capability. Getting onto the regular attributes in terms of the RAV4 in this new generation, starting out with visibility behind the wheel. As I've detailed in some of the other trim levels that I've already driven and done content with, this vehicle is very good in terms of visibility. With the seat in its lowest position, I have spinal fusion, so my torso is a little bit taller than that of an average 5'9" individual. Looking over the hood, it's perfect. You see just the outer corners and the unique design elements of the hood. The A-pillars are fairly thin, and you do have glass between the mirror and the actual A-pillar itself, so you can see around the vehicle easier. The side glass and the side mirrors are actually very easy to see out of and have a nice amount of visibility. And then out the rear, it's going to be very good, just like that of a normal compact SUV. So all in all, that's a very nice G-Wagon. Visibility inside the RAV4 is excellent in this new generation. Now, seat comfort here on the inside is very good as well. The bottom cushion is going to be plenty long in overall length, so that is going to be comfortable. The Softex material, or the synthetic leather, is very plush. The cushioning, I think, is all in all very good, and I think the power adjustments allow you to dial in your optimal comfort with this manual tilt telescopic steering column. It's a good balance between an upright seating position and a more relaxed sedan-like seating position here for this next generation. In terms of road noise or cabin noise levels in the cabin at 65 miles an hour here on the interstate, it's actually, this is one of the elements that I kind of started to complain about or notice in some of the other trim levels, and it carries through to this Woodland. You hear a decent amount of tire or road noise specifically coming up through the floorboard or just making its way inside the cabin, enough so that you almost have to raise your voice just a little bit. Wind noise and all that, really not too bad, but I think the isolation levels in the cabin could use just a little bit of additional work, quieting down the cabin space versus that of some others in this segment. As we know, vehicles like the Hyundai Tucson and its fully loaded limited trim level offer some laminated glass for not only the windshield but also the front glass, which should help with wind and noise levels in the cabin. I just think there are some other quieter options in the compact SUV space, and this is a very competitive segment of SUV, so the more that Toyota could do to actually refine this even further, I think would be a benefit to them for this particular vehicle. Now, with that being said, is it so loud in here that I would recommend shying away from this vehicle? Absolutely not. Especially when you turn on the audio system at 30-40% volume, whether or not you get the premium one or not. I think the audio system can easily overcome the noise levels. It's just something to at least consider when you go to start shopping and driving these vehicles for the very first time. Now, switching on to the interior, as I did detail earlier on this video, you have some of the next generation latest technology, including the infotainment system, which is the smaller 10.5-inch screen size versus the 12.9 that's found in some of the more expensive models of this vehicle. And then you have the standard 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster, which has tons of configurability. You have some of the unique graphics and trail control for the Woodland in specific. And then as I was going through the off-road course, trail mode will automatically bring up the 360 camera system automatically below a certain mile per hour at lower speeds, so you have enhanced visibility. And there are some unique viewpoints as well using the exterior cameras. The built-in dash camera technology, or the drive recorder, is absolutely phenomenal. I do have a dedicated video on how to use that and explaining that in a little bit more detail. As you can see, we are using Toyota Safety Sense 4.0, which is standard and comes with adaptive cruise control, lane tracing assist, blind spot detection, automatic high beam assist. The usual stuff, it's just more advanced and more refined with their latest hardware and feature set inside of this new RAV4. And I have the lane tracing enabled, which means it's monitoring the lane markings on the roadway, centering me in the lane. And after driving for about 5 or 7 minutes here at these speeds, I have no issues with the performance of the system. And it does have an eye tracking monitor, so you can actually use that if you wish. But there is a little symbol right here that says off, which leads me to believe that's either turned off, or you can actually turn it off manually within the infotainment system, which is something that not all manufacturers actually allow you to do. So props on Toyota for appearing to enable that function. Now, around the rest of the interior, the Woodland gets some unique dark green, gray accents across the dashboard and the door panels. I think they call it the mineral color, and it looks nice. It has some unique textures and patterns versus the other soft text materials. But, you know, the interior in general, I think, could use a little bit more pop of color and some accents just to give it, you know, some unique flair. It's a pretty dark interior. It's a pretty, you know, minimalistic in overall design. There's not a bunch of bold elements like some of the competition, and the design language is traditional Toyota for the most part. So if you're used to the last generation RAV4 or some of their other newer updated products, this interior is not going to be out of place whatsoever, and I think you'll find it acceptable. With that being said, I would like to see a little bit more color on the inside, similar to the seats and, you know, stuff they've designed there on the door panels and the dashboard and things like that. Space in the cabin is actually pretty darn good. You have a pretty wide area between the center console and the door panel. However, my right knee has been resting up on the door panel a little bit. So, you know, here in the center console, it would be nice if they could do a little bit of additional padding in this area just outside of the USB charging ports, because that's where I find my knee lightly brushing up on the center console. But outside of that, I think a taller individual that's, you know, 6 foot plus with long legs could get pretty darn comfortable on this vehicle if you were to look at one or want to purchase one for a family or things like that. Despite it being within a half an inch in basically every dimension from that of the last generation RAV4, this vehicle actually feels pretty darn spacious and is going to basically remain where it is in this compact space in terms of physical size. Now, the one key highlight that I keep coming back to, getting behind the wheel of all of these different trim levels from this event, is the hybrid systems and the refinement and just how smooth and effortless they feel. This one has the all-wheel drive system, which is producing 236 horsepower, which is, you know, very competitive in the space, a few more horsepower than that of the outgoing last generation RAV4 Hybrid. And this 5th generation hybrid system is absolutely buttery smooth, and you just can't really say much more about it. It is one of the best in the segment and in the industry by far, and it's something that Toyota has been doing for so long, so well, that they've absolutely got it dialed in. It is very impressive just how smooth and, you know, well refined this vehicle feels. The transition between gas and electric is seamless. Right now we're cruising at 55 miles an hour in all electric mode because there's enough charge, and we're going downhill a little bit. So, you know, the fact that you can get the fuel efficiency compared to the refinement of this particular vehicle is, you know, one of the best characteristics by far. So I think ultimately that's where I'm going to kind of leave this video at on the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4 Woodland Edition. Is it going to take you off the beaten path? No. Is it going to take you to any trailhead that you want to hike, adventure to on foot, take you farther than that of the regular standard RAV4 all-wheel drive hybrid? Absolutely. This vehicle is, you know, very interestingly packaged. It has a lot of the standard features and creature comforts that one would want. It's available in both the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid. And if you get the plug-in hybrid, you can get the DC fast charging capability. So I like it. I like basically all the RAV4s I've been in. It's basically what it's going to come down to in terms of price point of all these vehicles. Unfortunately, that information has not been released quite yet. This vehicle will likely come in the upper $30,000 price range to low 40s, depending on if you get the hybrid in all-wheel drive or the plug-in hybrid. The plug-in hybrid's probably going to be a price premium over that of the regular hybrid by several $1,000s. But that's to be expected for the current, you know, marketplace with the compact SUV segment and the hybrid options. So, all in all, I think this new RAV4 is going to be a real winner for Toyota. It's just ultimately there's a few details that are left out currently that I would like to nail down and solidify before I kind of pick my favorite, if you will, within their new lineup. And unfortunately, they didn't have every single trim here, but they had the majority of the trim levels, including XLE Premium, XSE, we had Woodland, GR Sport. The list really goes on. They had a lot of options for us to get behind the wheel of. And speaking of RAV4, there's, you know, tons of the last generation out on the roadway. And like I said, it's truly going to be a hot vehicle, one that'll probably keep its sales streak up. And I don't see anything inherently wrong with this new vehicle versus that of the last generation, which I don't have all that much experience with, but was a very solid and, you know, well-selling vehicle for the brand and compact space in general. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this very first drive impressions of the all-new 2026 Toyota RAV4 Woodland. If you did, make sure to hit that like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, any questions you might have down in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them. I want to give a huge thanks to Toyota for flying me out to this event and giving me this opportunity to get a first drive, first impressions behind the wheel of their all-new 2026 RAV4. And with all that being said, check out some of the other content I have available from this event here on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.